There may not be any room at the Inn or local theaters when two blockbuster-level films open just in time for holiday moviegoing. With Mary Poppins Returns already in theaters, there's a need for something with a little more action. Enter Bumblebee and Aquaman, two summer-level effects films that should keep non-musical family members busy this weekend. First things first, Bumblebee. Because the last Transformers film exhausted every implausible angle for those battling bots, producers had to find another way in. Like superhero films, they unearthed an origin story and may have given birth to a new series. In this reboot, Bumblebee, the yellow Transformer, lands on Earth, hides out in a San Francisco junkyard, and becomes a Volkswagen Beetle.
What are you?
An 18-year-old, played by Haley Steinfeld, discovers the car and figures it might be her wheels to freedom. Soon, though, she learns of its past and has to deal with the impending threat of Bumblebee's world.
What's your name?
Because director Travis Knight makes this a more intimate Transformers, the story is easier to follow than the franchise Michael Bay fostered. It still gets a Decepticon screen time, but it doesn't blow up the planet before you've finished your popcorn.
You've got me.
If Transformers had to come back, this wasn't a bad way. Consider Bumblebee the creed of special effects films.
Permission to come aboard.
Aquaman, meanwhile, is hardly as assured. Starring Jason Momoa as the underwater superhero, the new DC Comics film shows how his mother, played by Nicole Kidman, washes ashore and falls for a lighthouse keeper. Half man, half fish, he discovers a whole new world under the sea and an evil king played by Patrick Wilson who's bent on destruction. Once King Orm unites the seven oceans kingdoms, he wants to move on land and dominate the world. That gets Aquaman moving and ready to take on all comers. He gets a female partner played by Amber Heard and more than a few sidekicks, but it's clearly a one-man show that ultimately wears thin. Directed by James Wan, Aquaman runs too long for its own good and tries to overwhelm when it should just entertain. Aquaman doesn't have the style of Mary Poppins Returns or the simplicity of Bumblebee, but it's one more choice for moviegoers who don't want the same old song and dance. With your movies in a minute, I'm Bruce Miller.